Jack comes back. Head Bonk, First Aid and Safety by Tschuga Pum's First Aid and Safety Stories. Jack had big plans for the summer holidays, which started the next week. In Jack's yard, there was a huge, tall tree that was just begging for a tree house. Jack's best friend David lived just 3 doors down from him. They would work on it together. Jack and David had been collecting wood from any and every place they could find it and piling it beneath the big tree. They got some from their grandfather's garages, their uncle's sheds, even their dads had some they could use. Jack's dad said that he was excited to help them, but they must build it with safety first in mind. He told them to make as many plans as they could with their wood collection, and next coming weekend, he would make himself free to give them all of the help they needed. Jack and David were so excited they could hardly think of anything else. The boys sat dreamy-eyed, thinking of the cool things they could do in their treehouse. They could make a mess and no one would care. Spend the night guarding the yard, talk and no one would hear. Invite friends to sleep over. Tell scary stories without any crying or fussing. Stash snacks inside that they didn't have to share. Make it like their own house with their own style. And stay up late. After finishing schoolwork and chores each day, the boys would meet at the woodpile. They showed each other the great ideas that they had drawn after going home each evening. One day, David brought over some wood pieces that weren't very long. He wasn't sure what to do with them, but brought them anyway. Jack knew exactly what to do with them. "We can use them as footing steps to help us climb up the tree," Jack said excitedly. They decided they would find the longest nails available and start on this before the weekend. Jack would talk it over with his dad after dinner time. Dad said he loved some of the plans, but really didn't like the idea of using nails for any of the project. He thought that nails pull out too easily and weren't as safe. "Maybe on Friday night you, David, and I can take a trip to the hardware store," his dad said with finality. "We can look at long screws, brackets, joiners, maybe even buy some more wood," he finished. Dad left the table and went to take his shower. The next day, David showed up in Jack's backyard, carrying more short boards and a bag with nails and a hammer in it. Jack told him what his dad had said, but they both thought maybe that just putting in a few steps today wouldn't hurt. They could always take them out again, and with putting a few on now, they could catch an early glimpse of what they would be able to see while up in their special tree. Putting the footing boards on was more work than the boys had bargained for. They both worked a long time trying to make the nails go in all the way, spacing the boards evenly apart, and all the while using only the nails that they had to. They didn't have too many. They soon realized that after the second or third footing step, they had to stand on them in order to reach higher up the side of the tree. This was a true test of their workmanship, they thought. Jack Reaching for the footing he'd just nailed on so he could climb up to nail on the next one, felt the wood give under his pull, and he began to fall. David heard the piece of wood breaking. He looked on in horror as Jack kerflumped like a rag doll onto the ground below. David jumped down easily off of the lower footing and ran to Jack. "Jack, are you all right?" he shouted as if Jack couldn't hear him. Jack lay still on the ground. David ran quickly to Jack's house, shouting, "Call an ambulance! Hurry! Quick, call an ambulance!" he kept saying, and Jack's mom did. Then she came outside to check on him. "Is there any blood, David?" she asked as they ran to him. "Did he throw up or shake at all?" Jack's mom and David continued to speak loudly to Jack as if to wake him up. His mom was checking his bones by gently running her hands over his body, feeling and looking for lumps and bumps. Soon, the ambulance came up the street, sirens blaring. 2 paramedics seemed to spill quickly out, carrying their equipment, and rushed toward them. It seemed like the sound had roused Jack, and now he was awake, asking what had happened. One paramedic was talking to Jack. "I want you to lay very still, Jack. Does anything hurt? Do you know where you are? How about what day this is?" she asked. "Who are these friends of yours?" Jack answered all of her questions somewhat sleepily. All the while, the paramedics were putting something cushiony around his neck and sliding a long yellow plastic carrier bed underneath him. They put a needle into the inside of his forearm and connected it to a bag of clear liquid with a tube. Then, after making sure he was breathing regularly, wasn't bleeding, and could be moved, they picked him up on the carrier bed and carried him to the ambulance. Jack's mom told them they would be following right along behind them. In the car, Jack's mom handed David her phone. "Call your mom and see if she can meet us at the hospital," she said. "I don't know how long we will be there, and I don't want you to have to sit around waiting," she concluded. David phoned his mom, and after telling her the whole story, was told that she would be sending his dad soon to pick him up. Just before dinner that night, Jack's mom called to say that Jack was going to be fine, but would have to stay at the hospital overnight for them to keep an eye on him. David and his family were very relieved to hear this. Jack would be back tomorrow. The next morning before lunchtime, Jack came back. David had been watching for him out the window and went running over to his driveway. "Jack, am I ever glad to see you? I was so worried about you," David told Jack. Jack just smiled and said, yeah, he'd learned his lesson about not listening to his dad, and that since he'd gotten a mild brain injury, he wasn't supposed to move around so much for the next few days. "Hey, how about we eat some lunch and play video games?" Jack asked David. "Sounds great," David answered and smiled really big. After lunch, Jack's dad sat down across from the table from them and asked them both to listen very carefully. "Boys, yesterday could have been much worse, even tragic. If you refuse to obey instructions, then I cannot allow you to build a treehouse unsafely. You know, I have really admired you both for the ways that you have made up your minds about what you wanted, and then worked together, keeping each other's thoughts in mind. You two show that you have developed work skills and stick-to-itness and initiative to work seriously as a team. I am proud of that for you both. However, some things must be learned. Did either of you become a doctor being at the hospital? No? Can you drive a car just because you ride in one? Even Jesus watched his earthly father build things with wood before he started working by himself. You haven't been trained in building things yet, but you can learn. Both of you can. I am sure we will soon have a fine tree house, but we must work together, okay? Dad finished. Okay, both boys agreed. Bad bonk or fall. If you or someone you love falls and bonks their head pretty hard, there are some things you can do to help. If they seem to be sleeping, have stuff coming out of their ears or nose, stop breathing, are confused, shakes, throws up, has bulges of bone under their skin, talk funny, slow or mumbled, or any other number of things that can occur, you must get help. If you have a phone, you can call. If not, find someone who does. Call 911 immediately. If they are not breathing, find someone who knows how to do CPR. This is a good class for kids to learn from. Do not shake the hurt person. Try to keep them from moving at all. Protect their neck and backbone. Press with a cloth continually on any place that is bleeding, unless broken bones are sticking out or it is crunchy to press on. Even when people think they are fine, they can still find themselves having blurred eyesight, ringing ears, never wanting to eat, not remembering things, or unable to balance when walking. Seek help from a trusted adult. Please help them get to a hospital or doctor immediately. Tschuga Pum says, please, always protect your head. Your brain is in there, and that is like your body's computer system that keeps everything else running together. Do what you're supposed to do. Wear helmets every time you should, whether boxing, riding your bike, skateboarding, building, motorcycle riding. Anytime there is a chance you might fall over or get pushed by something that would make you bonk your head. Stay off of places that are high up if you can't safely jump down. These boys could have used a rope thrown over the lowest tree branch to hang on to as they climbed. Not without asking Dad first, though. Think about ways to always be staying safe. We have parents to take care of us until we are grown in wisdom enough to take care of ourselves. Parents tell you things to keep you safe. Please listen to them. Always get help if you or someone you love gets a hard bonk to their head. Better safe than sorry. The book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 16 says, the godly, just man falls 7 times and rises again. Tschuga Pum says, thank you so much for listening. I will see you soon. Goodbye.